Alright, this is going to be a video on 1941's setup. Just a real small addition that you might want to first try out if you're just learning or something like that. But if you're an experienced player, this is probably not the addition for you. This is like a beginner's game. I guess vets could play it if they want a quick game, but it just doesn't represent Axis and Allies to me that well. This is kind of very, very watered down. So anyway, we're just going to do the setup. We'll start, we'll go in order. We'll start with Russia here. Okay, they start with, they get two factories. They get one in Caucasus and then Russia. And they start off with a few troops on the front line. You get some infantry and a couple tanks and one plane with them. And then in the north, they get some more infantry with one sub. And then over here in Siberia, they get 3 infantry. That's it. And all of Russia only consists of, what is that? Seven countries or zones. And that's it. Okay, and then we'll move, we'll do the Allies all in order. Okay, the British, they get 1 infantry on the United Kingdom. With 1 fighter and 1 bomber. Get a tank in Canada there. And then you got a few ships. You get a battleship, a sub, a destroyer, and a transport. But for the most part, that's it. And then there's an aircraft carrier with a fighter down here by Spain and Gibraltar. And Africa, they get a few troops. They get 1 in South Africa, tank, and a couple infantry, and Egypt. And then in India, it's kind of interesting. A lot of editions don't give you this, but they start with a factory down here in India. And they get a couple infantry, a couple ships, which is a transport and a destroyer, and then a fighter. And then Australia also has a factory, which is really weird to me. And they get a sub and a transport down there as well. And that's it for the British. But the British, I mean, that's kind of weird. They start off with 3 factories. The Americans, they start off with aircraft carrier, battleship over here by Hawaii, a few troops on the west coast. And then on the east coast, they get 1 transport, which is in range of that German sub, which is really weird. So, I mean, unless the German player is going to take out a lot of the British fleet, which he should, but you have the option of just taking that easy transport out. But anyway, they get a couple units and a couple planes over there. And then they have 2 infantry over here representing China. And, if you're familiar with all the other editions, this is a lot different, how the countries are connected over here in China. So it's a little different. And same with over here in the Europe. We'll go over that here in a second. Okay, and Japan's starting out with 4 infantry and a tank, fighter and a bomber. Then they get some ships. You got 2 aircraft carriers, 3 planes, a battleship, 2 transports, and a destroyer. You get another destroyer and sub down here. And you got some troops representing them taking over some of China to start the game starting the game with. And that's it. Right there in one screenshot. That's all of Japan. And then the Germans, they start off with Finland and Norway in the north, and they get a battleship and a sub up there. They get some troops and some tanks. The countries, if you can see, is really aligned weird. West Russia right there in the center, which is this one right here. That country seems to be very important in this game because it's definitely the front lines with 4 countries of Russia's. So I would, strategy, I would definitely take this. And then if you own these 2, you're basically blocking off all of Russia. But anyway, they get some troops over here in France, and then they get a little fleet down here. the Mediterranean to represent the Italian fleet. But they only get a sub and a destroyer and a transport. That's it. And then they only get one tank in Africa. And you got that sub out in the Atlantic. So that's the setup, man. There's really very few troops in this edition. The dollar amounts really start off small, and they really never go up because a lot of the countries don't even have IPC value, like some of those right there. So it's kind of crazy. I'm not a big fan of this edition, but if you're just starting off, yeah, you might want to start with it. You probably should. But, this really doesn't represent what Axis and Allies really is, in my view. You ought to go out there and get you a better edition after you can get this one, because you can get it really cheap, about $20, $25, something like that. And play it a few times, but you need to go get a bigger edition, and then you'll kind of know what Axis and Allies is about. This is really watered down. But anyway, that's the setup. I didn't really mean to do this video and dog on this edition, but I ended up doing it. But I just wanted to show y'all the setup. Anyway, appreciate y'all checking out the video. Subscribe to my channel, like the video. Deuces.